just edit the existing one. Or I can import a module definition. Because I have that DNN manifest file, it contains all the information that's needed here. So I can ask for it, and it does a little bit of magic just by interrogating the directory down there. And it finds any DNN file that sits out there, and I can import that manifest. And it basically just goes through the process and tells me what's there. So now if we go and take a look at what it created, we edit that module definition. Here's what it looks like. So, you know, the module name, the folder that it's in, the controller class. It actually uses that, I think, to fill these things out. And I'll talk about these interfaces in a minute. And then there's a set of module definitions themselves. So here we can see that there's two. There's one called Wrox.suggestion and one Wrox.suggestions display. So I have two different modules, and you'll see when I put the thing on a page that there's two separate modules that get dropped on the page. So that's what these two definitions are. Each one then has a set of controls, and these are actually just the user controls. So here's the display control, the edit control, and the module settings control. Okay? And each of them has a key. The display control is blank, the edit control says edit, and the settings control says edit. I'm sorry, the settings control says settings. And if I look at the other one, we'll see that it only has one control, and that is a display control, display suggestions, and it doesn't have, there's no control key here, it's just blank. So this is all the information that was in that manifest file that describes this module. So you have to create this manually from scratch the first time you create a module. All right, so now we've done everything that we need in order to be able to run this module. So if we go to, like, the home page, well, let me just add a page. We'll just call this suggestions. Description, same thing. All right, parent page, unspecified means it'll end up on that top menu bar, or if I add it underneath any other page, like underneath the home page, it would appear in the menu hierarchy. Okay. So I'm going to say unspecified, and I can, if I have other pages there, I can specify which order the pages go in, so I don't have to screw with it later. There's a templates folder and a default page template or none. I'll just use none because the default template just puts a text HTML module out there. And then we'll set permissions here, and I'm just going to say all users can see this page and update. So what it'll do is it'll create a new menu item with an empty page, and it actually created, even though I said maybe I scrolled the button, I don't know, but I thought I told it to not put anything on the page, so I'm just going to delete this one. It's easier to see what's going on if there's nothing else there. So now I'm going to add that module, Wrox suggestion. Just let it go to the default locations. We see that we get two modules on the page. Now, this is really sort of a minimally functional module. It's really for teaching purposes as much as anything. It illustrates a number of things like how you do security and how you check roles and that sort of thing in the application, and also how to do multiple modules. So the top one, the one that's sort of skinny, is the actual suggestion module itself, and all it's got is some instructions for what you do, and then an add suggestion button. So anybody who can see that module and has permission to edit that module will see the add suggestion button light up. So what you might want to do, for example, is make this module visible to everybody, but only make it editable by registered users. All right, so that you have to log in order to be able to add a suggestion to the portal. And then the other module is the actual display module that shows the suggestions that have been entered. And it gives you a drop-down list of all the modules. So there's two sets of permissions here. If you're an admin for the page, you'll only see the suggestions modules that are on this page. If you're a site admin, you'll see the suggestion modules that are on any page on the site. Okay? So, I mean, I did that basically just so that you could see how permissions are checked in a module. So let's go and take a look at the module settings. And you can see that there's, actually this is the page generic, and the module settings for suggestions are down here in a little drop down. So let's stuck a little image in there. We can add some types, so people can, when they add a suggestion, they can add like categories. So we're going to have like coding, add a type, lunch, whatever. All right, so you get a list of types, and this is an admin role. All right, this is the settings for the module, so anybody who has who's an admin of this page can add these things. And here then there's some text that we can change for the instructions that are displayed, just to make it a little bit more flexible. All right, so that's the settings part of it. If we add a suggestion, you can see that what we're seeing here now is all the user controls that are involved in this module. So on the very first page, we saw two modules there. Those are the two display controls. We just saw the settings control, and this is the edit control. All right, so people who edit a suggestion see this page. So so now you've seen all four of the user controls. So we might want to say here, lunch this Friday, and pick the appropriate one, and Anne Maria Oyster Bar. That's one of the places to go near where I live. So then what you'll see then is that suggestion that was entered is listed here. Oops. All right, listed here in this little table. So you'll see the list of all the suggestions that are put out, and you'll also see then that the suggestion module name with the page that it's on is listed there. And I didn't change the name of the module, so it's just Wrox suggestions, because the name of the page is also suggestions, so it's a little confusing. But that way the admin can see what page the module is on, as well as the name of the module. Each module has its own name. I could have named this lunch suggestions at the top if I wanted to. So I'm just showing you what the module does now. So when we go look at the code, you get a basic idea of what the thing actually does. So it's a very, very simple module, just a way of by role people adding suggestions, and then there's a way of displaying suggestions again by role. All right. So typically, what you'll do is you'll make this suggestion module, the one at the top, visible to everybody, and maybe only logged in users that are able to add suggestions. And you'll make the display module only visible to page admins or maybe not even page admins, maybe just to the site admin. All right. And you could even put the display module on a separate page totally. That doesn't even have to be on the same page as the display, as the module, the suggestion module itself. Does this make sense? Anybody have any questions about how this thing works? Yeah.
Well, not the module. I guess when you uploaded or ran the script for the SQL data provider, do you have more than one provider? Do you have to do each of them? Like, if it's a versioning, like 1.13, 2, 4, whatever,
What you'll have is if you look in the directory, it's a 2.0, 0.00, and you'll have a set of them that are all the version numbers. So you actually have to run each one in turn. You're doing it manually. Okay. Yeah. And so the installer will run them in, one by one in turn automatically if you follow the naming convention that's listed here.
Gotcha. And I missed, what was the file you edited the URL in?
That was the VB project file.
VB project file. Okay, thanks.
So if it's a C# project, it'll be a C# project. Okay. So let's go into Visual Studio then, and just open this settings, the suggestion, ASCX, view the code. We'll hop out and look at this in more detail in a little bit. All right. I'm just going to hop down to the very first line, if I can get to it here, event handlers, page load, set a breakpoint right here. Okay. Then, remember what I said is the way that you get this thing in the design mode is you go to Tools, Attach the process, and then on Vista, it's for the server operating system, it's w3wp.exe and you attach. On XP, it's called
ASP._WP.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So, presumably then, when we refresh the page, we should stop at the breakpoint, but it didn't. Why not?
You edited the wrong project file?
No.
You have to reload that module?
What I have to do, just to keep you from